G'day everyone, welcome back to Bannerlord Europe 1100. This is your mod author Fatrod, aka Rodimus. Today I'm going to give you a quick overview of the upcoming 1.6.3 update, which I'm planning to release later today. Couple of important fixes, as well as some big changes to cavalry and some movements to key settlements. So let's get into it. So starting off with the settlement changes. So you'll know that Antioch was introduced with 1.6. This is actually a moved settlement, so it's not a new one. What I did was I actually took Östersund from northern Sweden, and I've moved that all the way down into where Antioch should be. This is the first time I tried to do this, and it's actually all worked out pretty well. Settlement functions correctly, you can siege, so on and so forth. We also moved the two bound settlements, and I've made those Tarsus and Adana. St. Simeon is actually new. Now, I thought it was important to include the port city for Antioch for historical reasons. So yeah, that's actually a copy and paste, and that is also working correctly, which is great. For the culture, I have changed this from 1.6. I've now made them all Byzantine. Being a Greek or formerly Greek city, or Greek language city, that makes sense to me. So yeah, we'll leave that for now. The next big one is Edessa. So I've attempted to move this to its correct location. Ideally, it should be a bit further south, but this mountain here is not traversable. So I've opted for the northern side. Bira is a new settlement, or I should say a new, it's a settlement, isn't it? Yeah, new bound settlement for Edessa. Again, that's a copy and paste of another one. All looks to be working correctly so far. And then Ravanda is also still bound to Edessa. So that territory there now makes up the county of Edessa, which is fairly accurate for our time period. Future changes. So I am planning to move Sundsvall as well, because there was no settlement that far north in Sweden at the time. Most likely candidate, I'm probably going to place that in Thrace. I'm thinking Adrianople will be a good city for the southeastern part of Thrace. Potentially something just south of the Danube as well. This area is a bit blank. The Rus have had many changes. No changes to movements, but all settlements have been renamed based on some community input and feedback, which is very much appreciated. I've introduced one new clan, which is the Ravalod, and thanks to Eric for his work on the banner. Looks fantastic. They are owning the Polotsk and Minsk region. This should actually be two separate principalities, but this now makes the 9th clan for the Rus, and I don't want to create any more just yet, so I've left that, given them that whole territory for now. Otherwise, just pretty much every settlement has changed ownership to be more accurate. Based on what it should be for our time period. The Rus is now probably the largest, or it's easily the largest in terms of land mass, and one of the largest in terms of lords as well. So should be a formidable opponent if you're fighting against them. A few other ones in this region. So we've renamed Bospor to Pantakapayan. Don't make fun of my accent for that one. Also in our northern Baltic states, this one here, what was this? This was Daugavpils. This is now Rezekne. And over in Spain, we had two Pamplonas, which was a mistake. One of those is now Tarragona. So that's a fix. Speaking of fixes, so a couple of other things. Our Spanish troops, we had a few issues with the names of our noble troops. So our Taliero and our Caballero, we've just removed the S since it shouldn't be plurals. Similar for our Portuguese troops. We've also got some fixes to equipment sets. So several of our lords were wearing the incorrect equipment set. We had men in women's clothes and women in men's clothes. I think I've found all of those now, so they should be fixed up. Papal States was the main one, as well as the Crusader States. And that brings us to the final changes, which is on cavalry units. So there's two things I've done here. One is I've removed the horses for all tier 4 elite troops. Essentially what I wanted to do was drastically reduce the amount of cavalry in the game, because the way it was, once you get into the mid-late game, you just get these massive cavalry armies running around everywhere. So in essentially every noble line, with the exception of the Turkish units and that sort of thing, what you'll find is that the first of the nobles, which is a tier 4, no longer has a horse, and the upgrade requirement is to a war horse. That was already there, but they don't start off as cavalry anymore. When you go to recruit, and if we go down to this town down here, what we'll see is that there are actually no horse units available. That will change, as you improve your relation, and you can actually hire the tier 5, but for the early part of the game, it's all going to be infantry, basically heavy infantry. So that's going to drastically change up how the game plans out. The second thing I've done is removed the horse production bonus for everyone other than the Turkic cultures. So there were quite a few that had this. The French was one, I think Germans had it, Spanish had it, so they are all now removed. So the amount of horses in the game is also going to be drastically reduced. So all in all, should make for larger infantry armies and less all cavalry armies stomping around mid to late game. Final thing to mention, the versioning is now updated, so apologies, I missed that in the last update, but yeah, you'll now know that you are on the correct version once you load up the game. So that's it for this update. Should be live by the time you see this video. Keen to get some feedback, especially on the cavalry changes, so yeah, feel free to jump over to Discord and post in the suggestions channel. And that's it. We'll see you next time.